Harper Audio presents Not Afraid of Life, My Journey So Far by Bristol Palin with Nancy French. This is Bristol Palin. Introduction. I lied to my mother. "We're going to stay the night at Emma's house," I nonchalantly said as my friend and I headed toward the front door. Mom was busy paying bills and really didn't look up from her work. There was only 1 week left of school, and the weather was warming up in the Madnusca-Susitna borough. "Okay," she responded, not suspecting a thing. "Do you need me to drop you off?" "No," I said. "Her mom's in a hurry, but she's going to pick us up at the end of the driveway." "Have fun," she said casually and waved goodbye. That deception would affect my life in ways a teenager could not comprehend. It changed my relationship with my parents, my boyfriend, and even God. It would eventually cause me public embarrassment on an international scale and cause many sleepless nights. But I didn't know that at the time. On that day, my friend and I believed we were getting away with a harmless high school lie. Usually, I have a very sensitive conscience, even to the point that I can't leave a store without fixing a messed up clothes rack. I think, I'm going to fix these or some overworked employee is going to have to do it later, and she's probably already done it a million times already today. But on that morning, my conscience wasn't really even pricked. Apparently the excitement of seeing Levi outweighed any anxiety I felt about lying to my mom. So we toted our bags down to the end of the long gravel driveway, jumped in his red pickup truck, and left without any sort of guilt. As we drove away from my house, I drove away from the ease of childhood and smack into the middle of the weird complexities of serious relationships ideally reserved for later in life. We drove for about an hour, deep into the Point McKenzie area that is sparsely populated with almost perpetual sunlight during the summer months. We loved it because of its amazing wildlife and natural beauty. My friend and I couldn't imagine a more exciting night than hanging out with our friends in such a setting. In the back of Levi's truck were tents, sleeping bags, firearms for protection against wildlife, and lots of alcohol. I never drank. In fact, I knew nothing about anything bad, really, especially the differences between vodka, beer, or whiskey. I didn't know that the girly-flavored wine coolers were just as likely to get you drunk as the hard stuff, even though they went down so smoothly. And I definitely had no idea what tolerance was, or how to pace your drinking to make sure you don't do things you regret. All I knew was that I was with my ruggedly handsome boyfriend who loved me, and we were getting away with a late-night camping trip without anyone ever finding out. In fact, no one has ever heard this part of my story. By now, most of America knows me as Bristol Palin, the teenager who got pregnant right before her mother was asked to run for vice president on the GOP ticket with Senator John McCain. But what no one really knows is my story, the true story, of deception and disappointment that began the night I lied to my mother and went camping in Point McKenzie. We got there around 6 o'clock. Levi and his friends immediately built a fire and put up the tents by the lake. The tent my friend and I brought was blue and had just enough space for both of us to squeeze in for a good night's rest. However, I didn't end up sleeping in that tent. The wine coolers tasted sweet, and I slowly surrendered to their woozy charms. I felt young and carefree, and Levi kept replacing my empty bottles from his large stash. The more I drank, the better the crisp night air felt. But unbeknownst to me, I was about to hit a wall. That awful wall that takes you past a comfortable level of libation, the happy buzz, into the dark abyss of drunkenness. I remember sitting in one of those folding camping chairs, laughing with my friends by the fire. What I don't remember is what transpired between the moment I was sitting there by the fire talking and the moment I awakened the next morning with something obviously askew. Mosquitoes were buzzing around my ears, and my head throbbed like someone was using it as a drum. Levi's empty sleeping bag was right there beside mine, and I could hear him outside the tent laughing as he and his friends packed up.
Sample complete. Ready to continue?